Hola, en este vídeo
Hello, in this video what I would be interested in is that when you finish watching it you would be able to make or relate the changes that have taken place in the world of work with the dates in which the main leadership models have been developed.
de liderazgo. Vamos a hacer un poquito de, o voy a hacer un poquito de
Let's do
historia
a
para
little bit
recordar
of
un poco
history
cómo
to
están las
remember
cosas.
things from the
Igual,
past because otherwise the aspects that have
las
been
cosas que
changing in
quizás
the
han ido
recent
cambiando
time
en
or in the
en el mundo
recent
reciente
past
o en
can make
el
us forget a
pasado
little bit about how
fueron
things were
hace no
not so long
tiempo y cómo
ago.
eran las cosas hace no tanto tiempo. Entonces,
I
si quieres
wanted
hacer
to
un
do a
primer
first tour of a
recorrido
time from
de un poquito de los años
1950 to 1980 of what were the main tools of the trade that were in any job, be it office, or well, if you were in industrial jobs or other types of things, you would have other types of machinery.
pues tendrías otro tipo de maquinaria, ¿no? Pero
So, what we could consider as knowledge workers or people who were in services, basically what they were working with were with notepads, with paper, with pens, an agenda and a series of files or documents that were also kept or classified on paper. You had a desk phone and in some cases because you needed calculators or some kind of specific tool to do your work.
tenías un teléfono de sobremesa y en algunos casos pues necesitabas calculadoras o algún
And
tipo
usually the people who worked with you, what you might consider your work team, or the people who were under the umbrella of the same person, they used to be in the same building, that is, you only moved around on work stuff when you had to contact people who were from other teams and not yours.
estar en el mismo edificio. Es decir, que solo te desplazabas
Normally, some internal teams if in your organization because they had different locations, different offices, different plants or the people who are customers or the people who are part of your company's supplier organizations.
o a las personas
And
clientes
along with
o
that which was the
parte de los
context in which the work was being done, well, they were emerging synchronously at the same moment in time, different leadership theories were emerging.
relación, sino que síncronamente en el mismo momento del tiempo pues iban surgiendo diferentes teorías de
The
liderazgo.
first ones I had to see of the features were before 1950 and in the period that I've been telling you about how they worked in the offices, because fundamentally theories or models that had to do with the behaviors of the leaders and contingency models
O los comportamientos de las personas
were sought or worked on, that what they sought was to adapt these behaviors to the characteristics of the situation or of the people.
ese fue
That
un
was a
paso más
past of both the world of work and leadership theories, and we're getting closer to our present. But in this case, I'm going to cover a period from the 1980s to 2010, which is a period where practically things don't change too much. You can see that it changes some of the technologies around the work that is done, but essentially the way the work is done is usually similar. And then I'll also tell you about a period in 2015 that there's a point that I think is disruptive, and another time which is 2019-2020 that there's another point of disruption. In this first period that I'm talking about is until 2010, it's a 30-year period between 1980 and 2010. Things that happen is that what we normally used to do on paper, that is to say that the type of archiving of documents is gradually being digitalized and these documents become electronic or are archived electronically, although they continue to coexist in this period, both the paper and the digitalized part.
el uso de móviles
The use of cell phones is generalized, that is, it is not so much the desktop phone but the mobile device with which you are going to communicate, and it is also the device where you are increasingly using to communicate with other people via voice.
personas vía voz. Y
And also the use of computers is appearing or becoming more widespread, first fixed, then laptops, and this is the element, the tool that is used to consult information, to create documents, to file documents, to make calculations, even to communicate.
incluso para comunicarte, sobre todo
Especially in writing and synchronously in this first period, where you mainly work with emails, or you have wikis, or you have forums, and then what happens is that it's overlapping at this point, or it's incorporating the instant messaging type.
de mensajería instantánea.
There is an asynchronous part, but then there is a text synchronous part that is used with the different devices currently with mobiles, but well previously there were other kind of devices that allowed us this synchronous message in writing.
Por escrito.
And then there's a fact that maybe we're not too aware of, but as of 2015, tools that allowed simultaneous access to documents started to become widespread.
El
That allowed you to write several people interacting on a written document at the same time. I'm not saying everybody did it in 2015. In 2015 they started to the tools to be reliable enough and available to people who wanted to experience it, which were not too many. What we also started to have available were tools to have synchronous communication via video or via text through computers, but they were still not used very much. The technology was available, but they were not overused. For most people until 2 or 3 years ago, the natural work teams were still as they were in 1980, as they were in 1950, they were in your same building. Your natural work team, you interacted with them almost always face to face. It's true that some people worked remotely in certain professions a little bit more, but it was not something that was common. However, as of 2019 things have been changing. We also cannot say that at the present time it is not something that is widespread, but it is true that there is a higher incidence and there is a foreseeable tendency for your work team interact with it through telematic means, even if you work in the same building or in the same geographical location. It's more common that the people that you used to travel 2 or 3 floors to talk to those people, now you probably even do a video conference from your office. It can happen. Or with people who were in your city, who you used to meet to talk, because now you probably do a video conference and maybe make fewer phone calls. There are things that you used to solve with phone calls, now you probably solve them with video calls. Along with this evolution that I've been more or less tracing for you, that really has been very recent. Although there are things that we see now and it seems that they have been there for a long time, they really haven't been with us for more than 2 or 3 years. And the widespread or massive use, when you said massive probably is that it affects 10% to 15% of workers is recent. And along with that, because there has been also an evolution of leadership models between 1999 and now, because they have emerged first, a process of reflection on the data that we already had then. There have been some theories or models focused on what is the relationship of the leader with the team members, but at a more individual level, not the leader with the team, but the leader with the people. With each of the people that work with the team is kind of like a specialized contingency in each one of the people. And they've been emerging as well, or consolidating models as leadership models that touched behaviors that have been incorporated within labels such as transformational leadership, authentic leadership, servant leadership, and also some aspects that have to do with charisma or personality traits linked to the charisma of the leaders. This has been an evolution that has not been parallel, but probably has been emerging independently. The leadership models have been emerging, the world of work has been evolving, and from time to time relationships have been created. There has not been a specific model that was linked to the work needs in these cases, or these work disruptions that seem to have been occurring over the last 2, 3, maximum 5 years. And what I'd like to ask you is, how do you think these changes in the work model might affect, especially these recent changes, these big changes in the work of the people who are responsible for the organizational teams, that is, the people for whom the leadership models would be developed, that would try to help them to tell you how you should exercise leadership in your job? So if and how do you think these changes would affect the work of these people? I think at this point you'll be able to relate the changes in the world of work to the dates or the models that have been emerging over time related to leadership, how to exercise leadership. You have a little bit more information if you want to consult it in the document that I present in the transparency.